Alrighty, kiddos. Hello. How are you today? What we were going to be talking about today, and if you kind of remember from our lovely little outline, we just kind of threw together an intro, had a really simple conclusion, but today we're going to work on really making those introductions and conclusions stronger. So today I'm going to teach you when literary essayists write introductions and conclusions, they lead with some sort of universal statement about life, then transitions to the claim and really start to focus on the story they're writing about. So you will end up getting this sheet tomorrow, so don't worry about it right now, but we're going to kind of walk through this together. So when we're talking about an introduction, we're talking about that very, very first paragraph that you have. The most important part of your introduction is how you hook the reader. So if you notice right here, it talks about hooking the reader. Hooking the reader is important because it gets your reader interested in your story, in your essay, in whatever. If you don't have an interesting lead or an interesting hook, then your reader is not going to want to read on. So, words of warning, do not really just pull a quote and don't do a definition and stuff like that. Really think about what is this issue your character is struggling with and how can I phrase that to start hooking my reader into what I'm going to write about. The next step you're going to have is a summary of the story, including the title and the author of the story. So make sure we wrote our summaries way, way back in December, so you should be able to pull that out of wherever you kept that. So make sure that you include a summary of what happened in the story. It gives your reader a little bit of background knowledge, and it starts to really narrow down to your claim, which the last part of your introduction is going to be your claim, which should already be written. So an example is right underneath it, and it says, family is an important part of our lives, and as a family, you have to protect one another. So in there, I'm like, yeah, I'd agree with that. I definitely think that it ties into where this author is going with it, but it also is kind of interesting. It's one of those things you got to think about for a minute. Like, yeah, there are people in my family that I really care about that are an important part of my life. Then they go into In Raymond's Run by Toni Cade Bambara. Squeaky wanted to be the best runner in town, but Gretchen, the new girl, was also a good runner. So, when Gretchen made fun of her brother Raymond, who has a disability, Hazel stands up to her and didn't let her get in her way. Then, Squeaky won the race she had trained for, and she saw Raymond running on the side of the fence. So, she decided that she could coach Raymond because he was actually a good runner. See how long this summary is? Okay, that's what I'm expecting from your summaries. Yes, we have done summary before, and we'll work on it again tomorrow, but it has all the parts. It's got the who, it's got the but, it's got so, it's got then, and it's got everything that we're looking for with a summary. And then finally, this paragraph ends with Squeaky is determined because she stands up for herself, she wants the best for Raymond, and above all, she always tries her best. As you can kind of see, it starts off really, really broad at the top with that family is an important part of our lives, and as a family, we have to protect one another. Then it starts to narrow by giving us a little bit about the book and the background, and then it gets really, really specific with your claim. So as you can kind of see, tomorrow we're going to try writing our own introductions, and I will be giving you this. So that's a little bit about introductions. Conclusions, not a lot we're expecting from conclusions. The first thing you need is you need a transition word followed by a comma. Yes, you definitely need some sort of transition word. If you use in conclusion, I'm going to dock you points. Okay, so stay away from in conclusion. Then you need to restate your claim. Try not to use the exact words of the claim, but if you have to, that's okay. Try to see if you can put this in your own words. And then you need a strong final statement that is one sentence. With the strong final statement, I like if you tie it back in to your hook. So if you talk about family is an important part of our lives, and as a family, we have to protect one another, your conclusion should tie into this idea. However, the conclusion I have is not from the same paper as above. This is the one that actually Yuko used in her story. And it says, as you can see, there's my transition word, Squeaky is tough to love because she sees the worst in people. She is always ready to fight and she's conceited. Okay. While at the end of the story, she starts to change a little bit by smiling at her enemy for the first time ever, she's still a hard person to love. That's a really powerful last statement that kind of sums up everything that I'm trying to talk about and really ties back into Yuko's introduction. So, yet again, tomorrow you're going to try it on your own. But the really big takeaway I want you to think about is your hook really matters, your summary really matters, and it all needs to really start to narrow down to your claim. And just like your conclusion, it should start really narrow and start to go a little bit broader. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Please make sure you do your recap. Okay, make sure you do your recap because you're getting points for it. And I'll see you tomorrow.